Okay, let's assume you're in a fixed situation. You have around $1,400 or 180,000 Kenyan shillings, and you're just about to purchase a laptop that is future-proof, something that will last you maybe in the next 5 years, the next 6 years, or even 10 years and still remain relevant in the current IT world, in the current tech world. So with that amount of cash, there are two laptops that you can get, laptop brands, yeah, that is MacBook or these other laptops like HP, Lenovo, Dell, yeah. So for MacBook, with that amount of cash, you can get the MacBook Pro M3, yeah, that is the 14-inch model. That is MacBook with a 16 GB of RAM and 512 GB SSD, yeah. So other than MacBook, which other laptop brand can you get yourself at that price tag? We have with us here the Lenovo ThinkPad L14. It's a Core i7 13 Gen with 8 GB of RAM and 256 GB SSD, going at the same price. I know those specs might look so basic, and the laptop I have in front of me maybe might not match that price tag. But in this video, I want us to go to it, have a keen or a detailed review of this Lenovo ThinkPad L14 so that we see if it's worth that price tag. And if you have that amount of cash, should you get it or get a MacBook or get another laptop brand instead of getting this Lenovo ThinkPad L14? So as usual, stick around. Let's get to see what this Lenovo ThinkPad L14 Gen 4 holds in store for us. So first and foremost, before we have a review of this great masterpiece from Lenovo ThinkPad series, this is the L14 Gen 4. I normally advise that if you're going to get yourself a laptop, there are three aspects that you have to put in consideration. Number one is the body design, the exterior design, and the portability. You have to consider how good is the design, how impressive does it look in front of your eyes, and maybe where you want to place the laptop. Yeah, so you have to consider if you want something portable or you want something big. Yeah. So many stuffs on the exterior look that you have to be so keen on. Then number two, you have to check on the purpose of the machine that you're buying. This is where you consider now the internal properties of the specifications of the laptop, the processor. What do you want to do with it? Like, do you want to do business oriented tasks or gaming, or you want to do video editing? So many stuffs, so many things can be done with a laptop, like even forex trading. So what specifically do you want to do with the laptop? Then number three, you have to keenly consider the battery life of that particular laptop that you're getting. If you're somebody who maybe operates in remote areas, then you need something that has a very good battery life, and also it can be able to charge its battery like ultra high speeds, like the way we have in our mobile phones today. So those are three important things that you have to consider. And having said all that, let's get into this masterpiece and see if it ticks all those boxes and also any other added features that you find in this masterpiece that makes the price tag go up to $1,500 or 190,000 Kenyan shillings. So just to begin with the body design and the body color, as you can see from far, there's something like different. If you've been used to Lenovo, there's something different in the body color. You realize that the color we have here, it has that graphite tone. It's somewhat dark gray and not the usual dark black Lenovo traditional color that we normally have on the other ThinkPads. So here we have a dark gray casing with a matte finish so as to make it anti-touch or fingerprints, so that even when you get to touch it, there are no fingerprints left on it. Then it's made of plastic polymer, so it's a bit lighter due to the plastic polymer, but also so strong. Yeah, despite it being plastic wise, it's very, very strong. Actually stronger than some of aluminium chassis laptops that I've reviewed. So it's very, very strong, which is the characteristics of Lenovo ThinkPad series, yeah, so as to meet military grade standards. So this is how it looks. We have that legendary ThinkPad icon right there. Then we have the Lenovo label there. Then on the interior, this is how the interior looks like. So many interesting things that we need to talk about. But before that, let's have a look at the ports. So in terms of ports distribution, on the right hand side, we have the Kingston lock right there. We have ventilation slot here for outflow air. We have the USB 3.1 type A port for high speed data transfer. And then we have memory card slot right there. There's something I don't love about having these ventilation slot right on this side, because it's on the right hand side, and this is mostly the side you normally place a mouse. Let's assume you're using this laptop on the table. In most of the occasions, if you're a right-handed person, you'll be placing your mouse right just close to the laptop. So it means the heat being dissipated from this slot here is going to affect you heavily while using the laptop. So it's better having that ventilation slot on the left hand side than the right hand side. Then on the right hand side, we have so many interesting slots or ports for connectivity. So first and foremost, here we have an RJ45 port for Ethernet connection. Then here we have two USB-C or Thunderbolt 4.0 ports. Those two ports can be used for charging the laptop. It can also be used as two different exterior display. Yeah, you can extend display to other, maybe let's assume you have different TFTs. We're using these two ports at the same time, so you can have dual displays mounted on this laptop at the same time. Then next there we have the normal HDMI 2.1 port that supports 4K. Here, right here, it supports 4K. It is, yeah, there you have the HDMI port. Then here we have the USB 3.1 port again, type A. Then here we have the audio microphone jack combo port. Then we have smart card reader slot here, which you rarely use. It's right there for those who might need it. Yeah. And then on this other side, we have an optional SIM card slot right there. So you can insert a SIM card, and then you can be able to use your laptop to access data through the SIM card right here. This is usually optional. It's a module that usually inserted on the motherboard, so it's something that you can get it on your own, or at the time of purchase you can pick one that has it already on the laptop. Then right on this side there's nothing. I was just forgetting to mention that this is a 14-inch laptop. Screen size is 14-inch. Then it might be thick, like as you look it from this other side or from the angles, you see it's a bit thicker, but it's only around 1.33 kilograms, so it's still so light and very portable. Then underneath the laptop, the back cover, we have very big ventilation slot to allow airflow into the laptop before it gets dissipated out through the ventilation slot we have right on this side. Then something that is so interesting that I normally love about Lenovo ThinkPad is, you see, we have these rubbers here. These rubbers, they have two functions, and one of the functions is to enable the laptop to have proper grip. Let's assume you're using it on a table, on a flat surface, so that it gets to have a proper grip, it doesn't slide off easily. Then number two, which is now unique to specifically this model we have here, you can see the thickness level of these rubbers here. You can see it's very thick from there. Yeah. Then this one too is very, very thick, like there's that distance added. So this distance, when this laptop is placed on the table like this, it enables, or it allows for air circulation underneath the laptop so as to facilitate proper cooling. So even when you're doing, maybe while you're doing heavy tasks like rendering, video editing, and so many things, the laptop won't get to overheat, or the fans won't get to spin so loud due to insufficient cooling. So much has been said for the exterior. Now let's get to see what we have on this exterior side, the keyboard and the screen. So this is how it looks exactly. See, is that, I think this finish is so This is one of the things that we're talking about, having something that if you get to see it, it makes you feel like this is what I want, or this finish is just perfect. The design, have a look at the bezels. You see how thin the bezels are, both on the sides. The upper one might look thicker, but these ones are thin, which is characteristics of most modern laptops. They have those thin bezels. We have a 14-inch display here. About the resolution, we'll talk about it when you turn it on. Then we have two cameras right there, you can see. We'll talk about that in the next part. We have camera shutter here. Then this is the keyboard, trackpad, another Lenovo ThinkPad legendary icon right there. This is where the power button is. Then you have the speakers icon right there. So just before you turn it on, there, think like this is 1, 2. We have two important security features on these. Actually, there are three important security features we have on the exterior of this laptop that makes it top notch or a high-end model. Yeah. So number one, we have a fingerprint embedded right here on the power button, fingerprint scanner. Then number two, we have a face or Windows Hello IR camera here. That is the second security feature. So you can be able to sign in into this laptop using your fingerprint right here or your face hello here, the Windows Hello. Then we have a privacy shutter right here. Yeah. So this is a physical privacy or physical camera privacy shutter. So this enables you to hide, physically block the camera so that it doesn't get to be hacked. This is a feature that is not common in some other laptops because we don't have that shutter, especially the MacBooks. We don't have that physical shutter there. So most of the time we'll be forced to have a sticker, something like a solid there to hide the camera, and that doesn't make it look professionally nice. So it's better having it physically like the one we have there. Then now the keyboard. You see some of the most outstanding features about Lenovo is usually the keyboard. I think this is the most astounding features. Lenovo ThinkPad series, the keyboard. Keyboard design, the keyboard we have here. The only laptop brand or model with that closeness in terms of having that good keyboard is the MacBooks, and the one that we are comparing this with the MacBook M3. So here we have a very nice keyboard with a very good travel distance, as you can see there. The travel distance is around 1 millimeter, which is so good. You can really feel the keyboard traveling to and fro while typing, which makes typing experience so enjoyable. And then you have those keys having very small, like it's slight curves. You can see you have very slight curves, so that even when you have your fingers on them here, they are centrally placed to the middle of them, and it make typing so comfortable. Then another interesting aspect is that this keyboard is backlit, and as usual, if you want to get to know if you have a backlit keyboard on your laptop, you normally look for that glowing icon. So here on the Lenovo, you have it on the space bar. You can see this white icon here. Yeah, so this indicates availability of backlit on this keyboard. And to turn that on, you normally use FN key here, and then the space bar to turn the backlit on, which I'll do in the next part of the video. Then we have this track point right there. So this is a track point. It's like an imaginary, it's like an emergency mouse right there. So you can use it in combination with this central click pad right here to do so many stuffs, even without having to use this trackpad right here. Then on the keyboard, we also have shortcut keys for, you can see here, where is it? Somewhere here. Yeah, so around here, you can see we have mobile phone or dial pad icons, shortcut keys. So if you insert your SIM card here, and then you'll be able to use those shortcut keys easily. So now, as usual, let's turn it on. Let's see how fast this great masterpiece turns on. You get to see the internal properties of this laptop, the screen resolution, the keyboard backlight, and some other stuffs. So there you go. As usual, let's count and see how fast it turns on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it took around 12 seconds for it to boot up and get to the desktop. The boot up speed might be lower than this or faster than this, depending on some other specs. Like on this one, maybe it's a bit slow because initially I'd done the test and it was around 7 seconds. So I think it did take a bit longer because I was doing some updates, software updates on this masterpiece. So now that it's on, you can have a look at the back of the keyboard. See, there's that glowing light, yeah, backlight. You can see this backlight. So the keyboard is backlit, and having a laptop with a backlit keyboard means that you can be able to type in rooms where you don't have like the natural lighting or even bulb. Let's assume you're in a place like a theater, maybe it's a dark room and you're typing things. You'll still be able to get to see a keyboard clearly because it is backlit. Yeah, instead of having to tilt the screen at a certain angle so that the light reflects on the keyboard and you get to see maybe the letters as you type. So it is always advantageous to have a laptop with a backlit keyboard. So now the screen resolution. So I normally advise, if you want to see the screen resolution, you just get to the screen, then right click on the screen where you have the display settings. So the display settings, you have a look at the screen there, the scale. So you can see the scale here, you have about 50% that is recommended. Then the display resolution is 1920 by 1080. So that's the maximum screen resolution we have here. One thing that I must confess here is that the screen we have here, the sRGB ratio is not that good. So the color ratio of, like, if you want to see like proper red, green, those colors distribution are not that good, but at least it's better than most of the available laptops that we have on the market. We have about 65% ratio here because most of the laptops that we have in the market have 45% ratio, and 65% is not that bad. You can still use it, or that screen can still support video editing, photo editing, gaming. You'll be able to see at least that crispy colors, not as good, but at least it's better. Yeah, and that is for the one that I have here. But under the same model, L14 Gen 4, you still have same laptop that have IPS screens that have RGB of sRGB of 100%. So that means they have much better screen resolution or coloring ratio compared to the one that I have right here. Just before I forget, the speakers. You see here, this is where we have the speakers slot. So the speakers are upward firing, and having tested the speakers, because I'm not going to play an audio here due to copyright reasons for sound, I'll just have to rate it out of 10. I'll say, having tested the speakers, I'll rate it at around 7 out of 10. The speakers are not that great compared to, let's assume you're getting a MacBook Pro, or you're getting, remember the Lenovo ThinkPad 480? Actually, Lenovo ThinkPad 480 have better speakers compared than the one we have here. So I don't know why they decided to downgrade the speaker quality. Maybe they have a reason as to why, but I was not really impressed with the speakers we have here. Nevertheless, 7 out of 10 is not that bad. It's still good. It depends on you, on the purpose you're going to use the laptop for. So let's get to see the internal properties of this machine, because this is where the price tag now really lies. So as usual, if you want to get to see the properties, I normally advise to click on Control Shift Escape so that you get to the tax manager, so that, and from there you'll be able to see all the properties that are not edited. Yeah, the real properties of the machine or the laptop that you're getting. So here, first and foremost, the CPU. So here we have a CPU of 13th gen, a Core i7 1355U, and it has a base speed of 1.7 gigahertz. We have 10 cores and 12 CPUs. So this is the most interesting part about this laptop, and this is what makes it stand against MacBook M3 Pro, because it has higher number of cores. We have higher number of logical processors. Having these higher number of cores and processors enables you to multitask. If you're doing, maybe let's say rendering, rendering normally relies on the number of cores. So if you have higher number of cores, the faster the rendering speed of that particular laptop will be. So this one with 12 cores and 10 cores and 12 logical processors, the rendering speed is so faster compared to the ones that have maybe let's say 4 cores, 8 cores. Yeah. And then another interesting aspect about the CPU we have here, this is a hybrid CPU that is from the Raptor Lake series of Intel processor series. This is a processor that has efficiency cores and performance cores. So for the performance cores, we do call them the P cores. So like here we have 8 performance cores and 2 efficiency cores. That is something I'll show you on the buys of this laptop, because you can't get to see it at the tax manager. And what does that really help with? So having performance cores means that when you're doing like heavy rendering stuff like video editing, architectural drawings on the laptop, then the processor will automatically switch to the performance cores so as to enable you to run those operations smoothly. And then when you're doing light tasks like let's say typing, watching videos on Chrome, doing light data analysis on Excel, then it will automatically switch to efficiency cores. So when it switches to efficiency cores, it means that the laptop will use less power, it won't overheat that much, and the battery will last much longer. So that is one of the most, or the best advantage that we have with such a processor, having a hybrid processor like the one we have on this laptop. And that is something that I'm sure we lack on the MacBook M3 series that we are comparing it with. Then for the memory, we have 8 GB RAM here, and as you can see here from the form factor, it's so dim. So it means we have 2 slots here on this laptop's motherboard for memory, and out of the 2 slots, one of the slots is in use, and we have 8 GB of RAM at the moment, so we have an empty slot. So it means with this laptop, you can be able to upgrade it from 8 GB of RAM to 16 GB, or having 16 to make it 32 GB of RAM. That is something that you can't do with the MacBook that we're comparing it. Because remember, for a MacBook, if you get one with 8 GB of RAM, that is it. If you get one 16 GB, that is it. If you get one 30 GB, that is it. So then the price tag will go much higher. So having these, and maybe you can upgrade at the point where you have that enough money to upgrade, is much better. Then another interesting aspect here is the storage. So here we have KBG something SSD. You can see here the capacity is 239 GB, that is 256 GB. The type is SSD. You can be able to upgrade the SSD we have here from 256 to 1 TB if you love. Again, that is something that is not possible with the MacBook M3 Pro that you are comparing it, because for the MacBook, if you get one with the 256, that is it. If you get one with the 512, again, that is it. So with here, the upgradability, it's so much better, and it's very convenient, because at some point you'll want to upgrade the laptop to be able to do the high-end task compared to the one that we're using it for initially, and you won't be, or it won't be necessary for you to sell away the laptop and get one with better specs, but instead just use a little money to upgrade the necessary specification that you need, like the RAM and the storage. Then here we have Wi-Fi 6 adapter. So with Wi-Fi 6 adapter, it supports high-speed internets. Then the Bluetooth, we have Bluetooth 5.0, which is also very reliable. The connectivity is so efficient, you don't have to struggle with it, like the connection of the Bluetooth, and even accessing Wi-Fi of high speeds. Then for the GPU, we have a GPU of Intel Ultra HD graphics. So it is an integrated graphic card within the processor, very advanced one. It supports 4K videos. Then it has 4 GB here. So one interesting fact about the integrated graphic card is that whenever you add RAM to the laptop, the integrated GPU capacity also increases. So like here we have 8 GB of RAM, that's why we have 4. So if you manage to add or expand the RAM to 16, you'll be having 8 GB of GPU. And with this GPU, you can be able to do video editing, photo editing, ArchiCAD, all those softwares will be able to run on this laptop at much ease. The only struggle it will have is playing the latest high-end games at high-end settings with these graphic card. For those games, you particularly need laptops that have dedicated graphic cards and not integrated like the one we have here. So if that is the intention, then kindly don't get these. Finally, before we finish it off, we talk about the battery. Let's have a look at the camera, because this is also something I found so interesting. And here we have a camera of, let's get to the camera. So as usual, if you want to get to see the camera quality, the maximum camera quality of the camera you have installed on a laptop, just go to the settings, the camera app, and then go to the photo quality. So here we have a 2.1 megapixel 16 by 9 1920 1080 resolution maximum camera ability. Similar to video, we have a 1080p at 30 fps. You can record a video of 1080p at 30 fps here at 60 hertz flicker. So let's have a test of the camera and see how good it is. Yes, so right here is the camera of the Lenovo ThinkPad L14 Gen 4. That is how it is. And from the look of things, I feel it's equally good. I don't know how good the sound quality is, because we have two dual array microphones right on top here. Just one on the left hand side of the camera and the other on the right hand side of the camera. And those microphones they have those what you call anti-noise cancellation, so that maybe when you're having a conference call or a video call with somebody else, they can be able to reduce noise coming from different angles and only take in the sound coming or the voice coming in from you straight directly into the microphone setup. So maybe let me know in the comment section how good you find the camera quality is. But according to me, from the experience on so many laptops that I reviewed, I found this camera quality or this camera on the Lenovo ThinkPad L14 so good. Actually, I'll give it a rating of 8 out of 9 from the other cameras that I've reviewed, so it's not that bad. So now, the battery life. This is something that I'll just have to give my thoughts on it, because I'd already tested it. And I realized that if you're using this laptop, maybe let's say you're in a remote place, there's no power, or you have power issues, then it can serve you well, because the battery here can last up to 12 hours if you're doing moderate tasks, and even close to around 18 hours. If you're just, let's assume you're listening to music or you're just offline, you're not connected to the internet. But if you're doing things connected to the internet and you're using it, it will last you around 12 hours. But again, if you're using it under heavy load, like doing video editing stuff and so many demanding tasks, the battery lasted for around 5 hours, which is not so bad. To add on that, we have this laptop supports rapid charging. So with this charger here, see, we have a 65 watts charger right there with the type C. You can be able to charge this laptop from 0 to 80% in around 60 minutes only. That's around 1 hour. So remember, from 0 to 60%, 0 to 80% in 1 hour, and that 80% can last you close to 10 hours or even more than a day. So with that capability, I'll rate the battery of this laptop in a scale of 0 to 10. I'll give it 9.9 because in terms of battery life, the only laptop that can beat it, that has longer battery life, is that MacBook M3 with a longer battery life compared to this, and then this one follows in closely. So you won't go wrong in terms of battery on this great masterpiece. Having said all that, now as we come to a conclusion, remember the price tag, remember the basic aspects that we are looking for in a laptop, and having reviewed all of those in terms of portability, battery life, performance, it ticks all the boxes. And in fact, despite ticking all the boxes, it is something that is future proof. So we're having a 13th gen processor here that has AI capabilities. We're having a laptop that has very good security features. Actually, on the motherboard, we have something that we call Lenovo ThinkShield. For those who are used to the HP laptop, we have something called HP SureView. So here we have Lenovo ThinkShield, and we have TPM 2.0 module. That is, they provide security at the hardware level of the laptop. Let's assume you're using the laptop maybe online and you get attacked. So one of the means that the attackers, online hackers, get to hack your laptop is through the laptop's, like the hardware. So having a good protection on the hardware prevents attack on the stuff like the hard disk, where we have the operating system. They can't be able to access your camera, so many things. So having such security measures is so good for such a business laptop or your day-to-day laptop. So what can I say about this laptop concerning those who maybe want to get it for doing things like video editing, gaming? I'd say this is not specifically a gaming laptop, but for entry-level gaming, it can play even the latest games at low settings without anything going bad. Video editing, very smooth. Photo editing, absolutely smooth. Rendering, architectural drawing, ArchiCAD, so smooth on this masterpiece. So the decision now lies with you, but that is all that we had for this masterpiece. See you on the next video, the next episode.